Friday is here, Bears fans. We got another week of football coming our way. The bye is officially over, and I got to talk about it with the reigning is that Catholic League Coach of the Year right there? Is that what we calling that? The Catholic League Coach of the Year. Jason McKie is in the building, but we got to talk about our keys to finding a way to finish out a game versus the Lions, even though they probably know what's coming and things are going to look very different than what that first game was. What we learned in that game, there's some stadium rumors going on too. Are the Bears not going that far? That'll be, we'll talk about that. And Robbie Gould retired. Is he the best kicker in Bears history? I think we all know the answer to that. All that and more on today's episode of the Chicago Bears podcast. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave that 5-star review. Y'all know what to do, and drop a bird down in the comments below. J-Mac, what's good with you, my guy?
What's up, man? Excited to get back to Bears football. Feels like it's been forever. You know, I've been doing my prep, getting ready for this game on Sunday. And when I talk about prep, I'm not talking about numbers and stats. I'm talking about coats and hoodies and scarves and gloves.
Oh, boy,
it's going to be cold, man. I might be doing the sideline report inside the family room. Like, Jay, man, let's go down to the field. Where you at? Yeah, you know, the weather's cold outside. It's swirling, but I may be in the family room.
You're watching the game on the TV like the rest of us. J-Mac, what was the vibe on the sideline? Cold.
Yeah, I'm being in the family room. Well, the vibe on this hot dog right here.
You gonna be in that like Chance the Rapper on SNL. Hey man, let's do that football. Yeah,
Danny Z's gonna be like, I don't see J-Mac down there. You're right, you don't. I'm gonna be in the locker room.
Yeah, it is not supposed to be a fun day on Sunday, bro. Like it is supposed to be. Not only are we talking about cold weather, we're talking about high winds as well, which is going to have a major impact on what the Detroit Lions are able to do, what the Bears are able to do. I fully expect by the end of this game, we're going to hear nothing but Justin Fields can't throw the football in 20-mile-an-hour winds. He's not a franchise quarterback. I can't wait for it. Yeah, I mean, there's one dude in the league that can do it, and his receivers don't want him to do it, and that's Josh Allen. Josh Allen be throwing bullets through the wind, but it don't matter wind, sleet, snow, rain. He will kill you with the football.
Yeah, and Josh Allen's like, he's one of my favorite players in the league. And this year, it's like he's throwing bullets, but is it to the right guys? Is it to the wrong team? Is it to the opposing? Team? You know, Josh Allen struggled this year a little bit, man. But
Josh Allen is getting a little. I don't know. I got mixed feelings on Josh Allen this year, dog. I'm not gonna lie to you, because it's like, yes, he leads the league in interceptions right now, I believe, with 19. But he also has 40 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, he got 19 picks. I don't like 19 picks, right? Don't get a ball to the other team. But 40 touchdowns. Hey, can somebody on this defense get a stop eventually?
That's combined touchdowns now?
It is combined touchdowns, I believe, yes. But I mean, look, I'm not a touchdown's a touchdown for me, J-Mac. I love the passing in, but you get six. We struggling to get 6 on turnovers out here. I'm not gonna complain about somebody getting 6.
At least, I mean, hopefully we will see a touchdown this week. A touchdown, just one. We need just a touchdown, bro.
Well, let's jump into that, right? Well, let's jump into that. Let's talk about what we're gonna have to see versus this Lions team, because, I mean, to me, right, when I look at what we saw in that last game, my biggest concern is that things aren't going to change coming into this game, even though the Lions know exactly what you're going to do. My issue right now, my biggest issue on this team is Luke Getsy and his inability to, what we saw in that Vikings game, right? Screen. All right, they figured out you throwing a screen. What do you got for him? A screen. Yeah, I mean, like there's a lack of adjustment there. I fully expect to see the same game plan that we ran versus the Lions the first time around, which may work again. I'm not saying that it can't work, but it's a lot easier to figure out when I know it's coming and can practice for it for a week and be ready to go, right? What do we need to see versus this Lions team from the Chicago Bears for them to come out of this with a victory?
Yeah, I think you're going to see some of the same things against the Lions that we had success with in terms of our offense. Yes, you know, they're going to go back. They look at the game plan. What were we successful at? Well, we're really successful with the quarterback run game, and not just the quarterback run game. It's the read zone in which they kept taking it back, and Justin kept pulling that ball and going around the end and making plays. So we will see that in the game plan. I think we will see more of an RPO off of that. I think we will see, him changing things up in terms of, we may see it may be the same runs that we had, but it'll be formationally, it'll be different with some shifts. It gives defense a different look, but it's going to be the same base run. Hopefully we see, more movement out of Justin. This is a team that doesn't blitz as much as the Vikings, so I can't see we're going to see more of a horizontal passing game in terms of the screens, the now screens to those receivers that we saw a couple weeks ago. I can't say we're going to see Justin push the ball downfield a lot. We haven't seen that all year, but especially with the elements, and we just talked about that when we started the pod, the wind, I can't see him just dropping back and throwing the ball. I think this is a game in which the elements will make it to where Gessie has to come up with a game plan that involves intermediate passes, short passes, quick passes, slants and stuff like that, hitches and things of that nature, high percentage pass plays, something that we've been wanting to see from Justin consistently in terms of an offensive game plan. And the one thing that, I want to see more of, and I was, looking at some things the last two games, right? And talk about the last two games, the first game in which they played Detroit. So Deontay Foreman goes out. That was Khalil Herbert's first game back off injury. And ever since then, we've struggled to be effective in the run game besides Justin. Justin's been effective. But if you look at it, and I looked at some things, right? So the last two games, Justin had 30 carries. The backs combined have 44 carries.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's not, I just feel like we've got to get the running backs involved. When we talk about our identity as an offense being a running team, well, I don't want my identity to be a running team in terms of the quarterback leading the charge in that realm. I want the backs to lead the charge. So, I know we're healthy. I think Deontay Foreman is, I don't know how I got to look at the injury report, but, I think he will be back this game. I hope Khalil Herbert, having that week off, he's getting back to form. Roschon Johnson will be in the mix. But, we need to see a back lead the charge in carries, or we need to see multiple backs, lead the charge in carries, not Justin. And you want to use Justin's playmaking ability because he has hurt the Lions, running the ball in the past. But I need to see more of our backs leading the charge. And like I said before, that run sets up play action. That'll set up things. Yeah, you may have to take a shot here and there downfield in the wind, but that play action, right, will be able to help you get those intermediate routes open behind them linebackers, or it'll enable you to do a lot more things if you have a successful running game.
Yeah, and Deontay Foreman been a full go the last 2 days. Unless we have some sort of setback today, he should be a full go. And I think that's the weird, again, right? Being able to adjust, being able to incorporate different things. It seems like if Justin Fields is running, that means that the running backs can't run the football. If the running backs are running the football, we see low rush numbers from Justin Fields. I don't need Justin Fields. And even versus the Lions, right? What did he run, 18 times? A lot of runs. 18. I don't need 18 runs, right? And I believe maybe 3 or 4 of them were actual, like, this play broke down and I got to get the heck out of there. Outside of that, you're talking about, I believe, 16 designed runs.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's too many to me, because now you're telling the defense, yes, it does work. It does work versus the Lions well. But now, again, you're telling the defense, we're not looking to push the ball downfield. You have to have that mix, and I think that's something that Justin Fields does have a talent to do when we allow him to do it. Number one thing for me versus this Lions team is getting the running game going, because, like we talked about, of course, the elements, but the fact that, and you can speak to this, J-Mac, when you run the football well against a team, it just wears a defense down. And this is a defense that has struggled mightily over the last few games. If you can wear them down early, you create opportunities late for yourself where you can attack them downfield because they're so broken down. Right now, looking at the winds too, I went to the weatherchannel.com and said 13-mile-an-hour winds at game time right now. So not as bad as it was, I believe, Monday or Wednesday when I looked at it, but 13-mile-an-hour winds in Soldier Field is basically like, it's getting like a speed boost like Sonic the Hedgehog, and then it's whipping out of there. You know what I mean? So
another thing too,
it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, another thing too, right? We talk about the run game. We talk about time of possession offensively, right? What that does is now it's going to keep our defense off the field, but it's mainly going to keep their offense off the field, because their offense has been in a groove. You look at last week, their offense was in a groove. I mean, Sam Laporta, that rookie tight end, I mean, he's been balling. I mean, you've got Montgomery and Gibbs. You got Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah.
You got a lot of guys over there that can make plays. And not just make plays, right? They can make those explosive plays.
Yeah.
And that's why Jared Goff's been so successful this year, right? He has all the weapons around him. So it's not like he has to go in and win the game himself, right? He's just distributing that football to his playmakers. He's relying on handing the ball off to two good backs in that backfield, right?
Yeah.
Makes things easier, right? But, we've got a defense that's been playing well, but at the same time, if we can, dominate the time of possession, put together some long drives, wear their defense down, keep their offense on the sideline, it's a higher percentage of us winning that game. So that's another thing that, we need to see.
And this is a game, right? This is, I don't know if you believe in it or not. I don't personally, but this is bear weather. Cold weather game. We know how Jared Goff don't like the cold. He hates the cold. I don't care what nobody says. Detroit, he's in a dome. He hates the cold. They're gonna have to run the football more because of the winds. This Bears defense is one of the top rushing defense, if not the top rushing defense in the NFL right now. Yeah. This is a game that the Bears should be able to go out and defensively dominate if they play the game right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. And you saw the first game, right? We talk about the first game, defensively. We dominated that game on both sides of the ball until the end of the fourth quarter, where we fell apart. So a lot of guys, and looking at the press conferences this week, a lot of guys are saying, hey, we played good for 56 minutes. We played good for 57 minutes. They know it's at stake. They know they gifted one to Detroit. They know they let one slip away.
Yeah.
So the mindset, you can tell the mindset this week has been finished, as it has been throughout the entire season. You finish against the Denver Broncos, different story. You finish this game against Detroit, different story. So 5-game season, 5 games left in terms of evaluations, right? A lot of evaluations. Justin Fields, Matt Eberflus, a lot of guys that's on the lower end of this roster looking to be here next year, regardless of who the coach may be, but not only looking to be here, looking to be on an NFL roster in general. So you have 5 games that put good tape out there. So that way, whoever is evaluating you, you can be on an NFL roster. So there's a lot of stake within these last 5 games. There's a lot of things that's going to be a lot of questions that will be answered, because of these last 5 games.
Will this be the game that breaks the camel's back, right? Like there's Cleveland. Cleveland don't have a quarterback. That makes things very hard. And then, I mean, you're finishing out the season, Arizona, you got Atlanta on there, right? Like a lot of teams, Green Bay, of course, at the end of the year, that might be a tougher one than we thought it was going to be. But a lot of teams that we thought that the Bears should be able to go out there and get a win against, teams that are also in the tank battle right now for the #1 pick. By the way, shout out to the Patriots last night helping us get a 2-game lead over that #1 pick. Yeah, I mean, Mitchie football still doing things for us over in Pittsburgh by playing so subpar. But will this be the game that if you lose this game, you look at it and say, yeah, it's going to be tough to convince Kevin Warren that we should bring certain people back, whether it's the quarterback, whether it's the head coach, whether it's the OC?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this will be the game that's going to make that determination. I think it's going to be over the course of these. I mean, it's going to be over the course of these 5 games, but also they're going to look back at what we've done the entire season, and they're going. But these last 5 games, right? So let's say the Bears go out and they go 4-1 in these last 5 games, right? The question is, does that make Coach Eberflus's job more secure? Does that make Justin's place, in terms of being that lead quarterback, is his job more secure?
Yeah.
I don't know the answer. I'm glad I'm not in that decision making. I'm glad I'm not in that seat that has to make that decision.
Yeah.
A tough decision. I mean, especially with where you're sitting at in the draft, what you have that's going to be available in the draft. But at the end of the day, these last 5 games, regardless of Flus and Fields, if they're going to be here or not, these last 5 games is crucial to their careers, because if Justin's not going to be here, well, I've got to go out there and I've got to show that I can be a starting quarterback in this league, regardless. Yeah. Coach Flus, I got to still go out and show that I'm capable of being a head coach. We know he's a great coordinator.
Yeah.
Right? He's good. I mean, let's say if he's not here next year, he's going to go out there and get a job.
He's going to get a DC job. He'll have a job the next day.
Yeah, without a doubt. Now, the question will be is, can he be a head coach? Well, I can go out here and they can still go 4-1 in these last games and everything looks good. And the decision still will be made at the end of the season. Hey, we're going to change. We're going to start over. We're going to start fresh. But he'll have a good, it's better to go out on top than to put together, to go here and go 2-3 the last 5 games. And now everybody's saying,
And see, that's the thing to me, right? And I talked about this with Courtney on, I think this was on Tuesday when we talked, right? Like, everyone loves Flus to DC.
Yeah.
I loved Flus to DC in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
I knew what Flus was as a DC. Do you love Flus, the head coach? Because his head coaching philosophy is, I'm going to be the CEO. I'm going to be over everything that is happening here, which if we're talking about him being over everything as well, right? There's some reasons that he could possibly end up out the door. But outside of that, you're talking about him probably giving play calling to another coordinator. That means he goes back to being the HC, not the DC. Do we want him in the building for that? People are raving about how he's calling this defense. I love how Flus is calling this defense. You know what I don't love? How Flus is leading my team on a consistent basis. There are some bright points. There are some points that you look at and say, this is good. But a lot of them are tied to the fact that he's able to lead a defense. And I knew that already. Yeah. I don't know if he can lead a football team in the manner that it needs to be led to have consistency and success. Because the one thing that has been a part of his tenure, last year is last year. It is what it is. I give him credit for keeping guys engaged. But in this season, the most consistent thing we've seen from Flus is inconsistencies.
Yeah, 100%. It's not finishing. It's, the basic. And now, here's the thing, right? I was going to say basic fundamentals, and I'm talking about that. But is it Coach Flus's fault guys are fumbling? Is it his fault guys are pre-snap penalties?
It's not his fault that EQ missed that block.
Right. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because your name's on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're the head, so it doesn't matter. But like you said, though, the inconsistency, right, we're talking about in terms of finishing games, right? You have to instill a mindset in your team to have that killer instinct to say, you know what? When we're up in the fourth quarter, we're going to put the game away.
Yeah.
We're not going to leave the door open and give these guys an opportunity to come back. And trust me, I had to learn that painful lesson. That's why we weren't state champions this year as a head coach, because we didn't put a team away. We left the door open. They came and stole their game, and they were state champs. Same thing with Coach Flus, right? If you put the game away against Denver, put the game away against Detroit, it's a whole different scenario we're talking about right now. And even with all that being said, the crazy thing is, quiet as kept, you still have a chance to maybe find your way, find a crack into the playoffs. But like you said, the inconsistencies at head coach in terms of accountability, right? And for me, it's the accountability and finishing.
Yeah,
those are the two major things that I see that he struggled with this year in terms of being a head coach. And then, like, it's the, I think his personality in terms of the type of coach that, I feel like we need to see here in Chicago. I don't feel like his personality fits. I don't think he has those traits in terms of his personality. Do I think he's a great coordinator? Yes. Do I think he's a great coach? Yes. Do I think he can be a good head coach? Yeah, I think so too. Yep. I just think with the market we have in Chicago, right? The type of people we have here in Chicago, the type of fans we have here in Chicago, I think his personality and his coaching style, it just doesn't fit.
Do you feel like? See, here's the tough part, right? Because there's a lot of people that look at like the press conference and stuff like that. We've gone live after a lot of these press conferences, and he don't sound smart. He's smart. It's not that he's. I know he's smart, right?
Smart. Like, yeah, he said coach speak.
It's a lot of coach speak, right? Yeah. And that irritates a lot of people. But I implore people to do what I did, because I was like, I kind of remember Lovey being like this. And the difference was Lovey won. I went back and listened to some of Lovey. Bro, I'm telling you, you listen to Lovey press conferences, bro, and you would swear we was going to lose. I went back and listened
why you say that?
Because I went back and listened to one of the press conferences when y'all were getting ready to play the Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
And
what was he saying?
Literally, because, Vikings front four, with them dogs they had up front, right? So they basically asked them, how are you going to move the football if are you just going to run straight into the Vikings front four and just like see what happens? And Lovey was like, we're going to stay the course. We've got our game, and we're not going to change who we are for the Minnesota Vikings. And bro, I swear I was like, I swear I was like, if I was reacting to that in that moment, I probably would be losing my mind because it's like, but they're the #1 run defense in the league. Why are we doing?
And it worked out. You want him to give away the game plan, though? Is that what you want him to do? Like, it's not giving away. We're gonna run away. We're gonna run away from Pat Williams, guys. We're not running about Adam. We ain't going north and south. We're gonna have a horizontal running game today, fellas. Like, is that what you wanted him? Is that what
I didn't need him to give away the game plan, but like when you hear certain head coaches talk, you just like, oh, we gonna go win this game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lovey was more about that action. And I think that's the difference, right? If Flus was winning, we could care less what Flus is saying.
Yeah.
The problem is that Flus isn't winning. You would hear Lovey week in and week out and be like, this is crazy. And then he go win the game, and you'd be like, oh, well. And after the press conference, he said, we just played our game.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we played our game. We found a way to win. But I think that the thing is you have to couple that with the winning. And so without that there, it irks fans the wrong way. Yeah. You got to find a way to close some of these games, though.
Man.
And I think when you talk about Flus's personality, the things that haven't done him any favors is not only the fact that he's losing these games, but then in the press conference, I don't know if it's, on the Bears side or if it's Flus personally, but like some of the things there is like, okay, yeah, we don't teach our guys to do that, but then we see it on tape the very next week, which means you teach your guys to do that, right? The one thing Bears fans want is honesty. Mm-hmm. And just don't get away the game plan, but don't lie to us either, right? Like we didn't intend to have Smalls on bigs. I saw it a week and a half later. I saw it the very next time we played the Vikings, the exact play that got Justin Fields hurt, granted he didn't hold the ball as long this time, was run again, and I see a running back jumping into the spot to block Danielle Hunter.
Yeah.
So you're teaching that. Yeah, I mean, and I think that's the part with Bears fans where you go out there and you say one thing and clearly you're doing another. Just don't lie to us. We'll put up with a lot. We've been through a lot in this town.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, you can't go out there and say, hey, you know what? We're making progress. We're doing good things. But then you go out there and you look like they did against Kansas City, or you look like they did against, week 2 against Tampa Bay. I see what you're saying. And then, yeah, I mean, and I think that today's day and age, like, some of these coaches are still old school. I think Coach Flus has an old school mentality where he's not going to give you anything. It's coach speak when he's at the podium. And then you have some other guys like my guy down there in Miami, Mike McDaniels. He's going to go up there and he's going to, he's quirky. He's talking like he's going to give you little nuggets and stuff like that didn't even involve football. You know what I mean? And then you're going to get Mike Tomlin, who's going to call everybody out. Like, no, we suck offensively. We got to get better. But then there's action behind his words in which he fires his offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And things of that nature. So, yeah, I think now, Chicago, I think now in this day and age with the type of players that are in the league now, younger guys, or I can only speak in terms of us, right? We have a younger roster, right? And we talk about guys who I talk about it a lot. Like, who is the leader? Who is the alpha in that locker room? Well, it's hard because you have guys who have only been in that locker room with each other for a year or 2 years or 3 years, or you know what I mean? Like you would say, okay, we look at our defense, right? You would say, okay, Eddie Jackson's probably the longest tenured guy.
Yeah.
Starter on that defense, right? But here's the thing. We want Eddie Jackson to step up, be an alpha, be a leader. Well, Eddie Jackson in and out of the lineup due to injuries. You know what I'm saying? So it makes it tough. Jalen Johnson, right? He's got to be one of the alphas, the leaders in this locker room. You know, Jaquan Brisker, you've got to be one of the alphas, but this is only your second year. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's tough. Montez Sweat, you have to come in and take over a leadership role, right? Because you've been brought in as that guy to really change the tide of this defense, which he has done since he's been here.
100%.
But in terms of him having that leadership role, well, hell, he's only been here a few weeks. So it's tough. It's tough. You know what I'm saying? It's tough to have that. So when I say all that, I say that to say this. You got to have a head coach, right, that can hold guys accountable, that could demand things from guys, because these guys are young, man. Like, they leave the game and they're on Instagram posting pictures of, like, how they were coming into the stadium, how their dress was, even after a loss.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you have to be able to galvanize that locker room, keep them together, but you have to have a set of expectations. Like, look here, guys, when we lose, right, we're not tweeting about what we wore to the game. You know, we're not doing this, we're not doing that. It's back to the grind. You know what I mean? It's trying to figure out a way to get this thing back on track. And I'm not saying he isn't doing that. I'm just saying that's what we need. And I can't say he's not doing that because I'm not in that locker room. I'm not in those meetings. But I think that's the type of coach that you need, that's going to just hold everybody accountable, his coaches included, the players. Like, he's not going to take no BS. Like, there's
I'm gonna tell you this. I hope he's not doing it, because they still doing it. So that means that they blatantly not listening to him, right? Like that, and that's something that we've seen as well. And I think that's the part with Bears fans, right, where I say, not that we want to see you. I don't want to see you ripping your players in the media every week. I don't, right? Like, listen, at the end of the day, yes, it's the player's job, but it's your job to make sure that your players are in a position to succeed. And we just haven't done that. I don't need the, I don't need the Mike Ditka. I'm sorry, I don't. Like, I love Mike. I love what he brought to this city. I love what he did for this city. But I do need the honesty that Mike brought when he talks about the play of the team. I don't need you to sit there and tell me, Justin Fields, you didn't do enough on this play. But what I do need you to say is the same accountability that you're supposed to be holding your players to, hold yourself to that standard. Because when they called out your defensive mishaps, when they called out how you have lost these games, you decided to point to a Saints game that you lost and say, oh, well, you know, I think the play caller in that game did some really good things. By the way, that was me. Yeah, I mean, what? Like, what are we doing here, right? Like, it's just, I want everybody that's in this situation to be held to the same level of accountability.
Yeah, 100%.
Justin Fields should be held to the same level of accountability that Luke Getsy and Matt Eberflus are being held to. But he's not. If Justin Fields comes out and he says, you know, I had that pass right there, but Tyler underran it. Mm-hmm. The world's flipping tables. People start setting stuff on fire. Cars are blowing up. Oh, my God. How could you ever do that? Matt Eberflus does it every other week. And everybody's just like, well, you know, that's just Flus. Mm-hmm. Luke Getsy, Luke, why'd you call 16 screen passes? Well, that's the game plan.
Yeah.
That was a stupid one. And everyone saw it. Yeah, well, you know. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
but that's their personality. You know what I'm saying? That's their philosophy as coaches. Yeah. They're not going to give you anything. You know, they're gonna sit up there and it's coach speak. And that's just the way. That's what they do. That's just who they are as coaches.
I do think that speaks to what you say, though, right? Like, they might not have the right personality for this team.
Yeah, and that's you know, it's and as a coach, like you, like, and I say personality for this team, like, you may not have the personality to be able to command the attention, or to command the I forget the word I'm trying to say, but to be able to make your young guys, right, to be able to make them adhere to your word all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, coach talking again. Yeah, he said that last week.
Yeah.
Man, forget coach. This coach talking. Yeah, man, forget coach, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you know, I'm serious. Like, you know what
that's
I mean?
The craziest clip of the season. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. It was a 3-second clip. That man said, yep. Uh-huh.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, you need a coach that's going to, I just feel like when you have young guys, right? and young guys, right, in this day and age, there's a lot of outside influences that will take over the priority, and the priority should be football. But at the end of the day, right, when you're going through struggles, you're going through a losing season, right, at the end of the day, we're losing, but I'm still getting paid. So we used to have a saying when we were in the locker room, hey, we used to get paid on Thursday. And if we lost, right, we say, hey, we always win on Thursday no matter what because it's payday.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that guys are like this, but when you have young guys, like I said, there's other outside influences that'll take a priority over football. And you got to have a coach that has the command, right, to be able to make sure that his guys know that during the season, football is the only priority. It's the number one priority besides your family. I'm going to give you time to go see your family, but it's family and football. It's not family, Twitter, Instagram, fashion, then football. You know what I'm saying? Like it's, that's just the way I see it. You got to have a coach that's going to have complete command and attention of this team, especially when you're dealing with a lot of young guys, right? You don't have a lot of veterans in this locker room that can really uphold your standard and your culture on a daily basis, right? So where does that fall on? It falls on you as a head coach, right?
Yeah.
And when you have young guys, you have to develop leadership. You have to develop leaders as well. So if there's a guy on this team who you feel like has leadership qualities but doesn't exhibit it all the time, where you have to take him, you have to try to develop him into a leader. Because at the end of the day, regardless of how many years guys have been on this team and how many years they haven't, you've got to have leadership within the locker room, right, to be able to influence your culture and your standard within that locker room. Because as coaches, like the coaches aren't in the locker room. Right. They're not in the locker room. Like if a coach came in the locker room, he's coming to get somebody. Hey, I need you to come to my office. Let's meet. Then he's out of the locker room. You know what I mean? Like even do now, but they didn't hang out in the locker room. That was our safe space as players. Yeah. That was our safe haven. That was our place. Like that was our office. Like our locker was our individual office. So, if you don't have leaders that can, make sure that the culture's being upheld, the standards and expectations are being upheld in the locker room, well, then how is that going to be enforced? If you can't pass it down to your generals in the locker room, then you can lose a locker room. Like I said, football will take a back seat, especially when you're losing. Like, hell, you're losing. It's easy to say, dang, where am I going on vacation in a couple weeks? I got 5 weeks. Oh, yeah, they got flights to Jamaica. Oh, they got first class. First class only $400 this week. We ain't going to the playoffs.
Right.
First class. Let me hurry and get this first class ticket. You see what I'm saying?
And I think to that point, right, you see the flip side of it in Detroit. You see the other side of a team that went through the same adversities that we're going through.
Yeah. A
team that went through, we need to get rid of our starting quarterback. A team that went through, you're not doing a good enough job as a head coach, as an OC. You're not getting the job done. And then it clicked. And now we've seen them go on this run since then, right? The Detroit Lions,
a good analogy though,
did the exact same thing, but there was that coach and we heard Dan Campbell after the Packers game. Well, after calling a horrible fake punt. I don't even know why he did it. It made no sense at any point in the game. And he got on the podium.
Yeah.
And if it was flus, right, they'd have said, why'd you call it a fake punt? We thought we saw that and we liked the down and distance on that. And we felt like that was a good time. That's good on our sheet. And, when we go to the sheet and the analytics of it, it's really good. And sometimes the analytics look like analytics, but they're not actually. And so that's good. Huh? Dan Campbell said, terrible call by me. That's on me. What would you do if that opportunity came up again? Not call it.
Hey, man. Do that voice again. What did he
here's the tough part, J-Mac. I've had so many coaches to practice this with. I've got it down perfect. Flus, what what do you want to do? What's up with the fake field goal? Well, you know, with that fake field goal, we like the down and distance on that. And in that down and distance, you know, there's distance that's down. And sometimes when you're down, it's like a downward dog. And that's great with the wife, but not with the team. You know what I mean? And so you got to look in the other direction. And when you're looking in the other direction, you got to look to the sun, because the sun is where God is at. And if you're looking to God, you're always going to win, right? And that's how we praise it. And so, you know, I'd kick the field goal.
Oh, man, you are funny, man.
bro, I've been doing that. I've had Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy, Matt Eberflus. I've been doing that for so long, bro. Man, no. Coach speak is not difficult, bro.
You are funny, man. Is that how I sound when I be answering questions, man?
No, you kind of get to the point. You sound like that when you want to say something about somebody specific, but you know you're going to see them in the locker room, so you can't just be like, hey, bro, you sucked. You'll throw a little coach speak in there. Yeah, I mean, a little bit every now and then. But as the podcast is going on, you've gotten a little bit more on like, hey, listen, you got to be better. I don't know what the heck you
doing. I asked Justin, hey, I asked Tyson, So tell me about the play. So tell me about the interception.
Yeah.
Tell me what you were thinking on that. Like, they know I'm gonna ask the hard questions. You know?
Hey, they ready for it now too, though. Like I've seen the J-Mac evolution of the pod. When we first started the pod, I was like, J-Mac don't want to slander the players that are on the team that he played for. But these must look trash. I'm gonna get him to that point. Now it's not slander now, but you're to the point now where you like, hey man, that we got our butts. Will I don't know what to say. Justin was horrible. Tyson was horrible. Whoever it is, I mean, you called out EQ last week. Yeah, you're getting there, brother. Well, you're getting there.
You know what? Going back to your point, that you made a great point about Dan Campbell. Taking ownership, making a bad call or making a bad decision in the game. And we talk about leadership, right? Passing down from the coaches down to the players, right? But here's the thing, too, with that coaching staff, look at how many former players are on that staff.
Yeah.
Dan Campbell, Hank Fraley's offensive line coach, played with the Eagles for a long time. Aaron Glenn, defensive coordinator, played cornerback in this league for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Like, and when you have, like, as a player, right? When you have a former player leading the charge, right? And he's talking to you about things that you're going to go through throughout the season, things we need to get better on. You know, Dan Campbell may be talking about finishing games. I'm sure he has his coach speak and everything. He's a former player. He's been through it. You know what I'm saying? So with the passion and energy that he exhibits in that building, that passes down to that locker room. That resonates to the locker room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the way, when you look at their style of play, that's the way they play. Offensively, there's a lot of guys on that offense playing with energy. Defensively, they have their blue chip guys, but there's a lot of blue collar guys and role playing guys that play with the type of energy. They play with the type of identity that their head coach exhibits, right? Grit. Coach Campbell, he talks about grit all the time. There's a lot of gritty guys on that roster, right? Because they have taken on the personality and the identity of their head coach. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A former player that's a head coach. This offensive line, right? They're a great offensive line, but they're also being coached by their offensive line coach is a coach who had a lot of success and played a long time in this league.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So those guys are able to pass down the message, pass down the culture, pass down the standard, enforce all of those things on a daily basis, right? And I think it's coming from those guys. It's more valid because those guys have played the game. They've sat in those same seats.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, they're in the coach's seat now, but I sat in I sat in the same seat that you're sitting in. I was in that same seat a few years back.
Yeah, and you can see the effect that it had on them, right? Like, and it's not to say that these guys are having no effect on this team. As tough as it is, and you have to put your personal feelings about the person aside and look at the actual production. Personally, I don't like Flus as my head coach. I don't like Getsy as my OC.
Mm-hmm.
But that's because I haven't seen wins, right? I can tell, I can be honest and say that's the fan in me that's like, I want to see my team win. Y'all haven't won. What I can say that this team has done is defensively, they have been sound over the last few weeks. Now, 4 minutes of the game, I would like to see more soundness. But you've got 8 takeaways in 2 games. Since you've added Montez Sweat to this game and have been able to generate pressure, Flus's defense works. The defense has been okay for most of the year. And I think that they've really moved in the right direction. Offensively, over the last 5 games that Justin Fields has been able to start in, you've seen Justin Fields develop under Luke Getsy. Is it the prettiest? Yeah. Is it the game plan we want to see? Not always, right? But 9 touchdowns and 2 interceptions in the last 2 games. He's got 219 yards rushing the football. He's got a QBR of 100, or quarterback rating, I should say, of 105 over the last 5 games. Like, I can see things moving in the right direction. So I do give them credit for that. Is there a scenario here where we finish this season out? Say we went out 9-8, and you have to bring these guys back. You have to keep the same thing in the building, because 9-8 is a drastic difference from a 3-win team.
100%.
I know people are going to look at it and say, that's still mediocre. Yes, it is. But you get the 9-8, 8-9 from a 3-win team last season. They can come into Ryan Poles' office. They can come into Kevin Warren's office and say, we got better.
Yeah.
We found ways to get better, and we got better as the season went on. We started off the season horrible, but as the season went on, we got better.
Yeah, and it's a decision of whether or not you want to start completely over, right? Because look here. A lot of those guys in the locker room will be back because they're fresh faces. They're new.
Yeah.
But bringing a new head coach, he's going to bring in all new position coaches, new coordinators. So you got to start all over. So guess what? That's a whole new offense. That's a whole new defensive scheme. That's a whole new, a bunch of different, he's going to bring in some more guys in terms of personnel wise. That's a whole bunch of, that's another coaching personality that these guys got to get used to again. So you're going to reset. You're going to restart the whole thing.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of what direction they want to go in. Do you want to pass on, quarterback prospects like they have in the draft, and the draft capital that you have, you're going to pass on that again this year after you already did that last year? The decision is, do we want to put more weapons around Justin and bring in more guys that can help this team and keep the same coaches and see if we can get better and improve more, with the same mindset and philosophies that our head coach is instilling in us right now? Do we feel like we can continue to get better and, trade away those picks and bring in more guys? Or do you want to start over and say, you know what, hey, let's take one of these highly touted quarterbacks, right, with that number 1 pick, bring in a receiver, right, that can go alongside DJ Moore.
Yeah.
Bring in a coach that, has a track record of winning, that can come in here.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
just throwing out scenarios that
I got a little congested.
Right. That can come up here and really demand, excellence. I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. I mean, it's still up in the air.
It's a tough scenario to finish out this season. I think the Bears are in a better position, but this is one of the harder positions that you're going to be in because of how it makes it tougher, because you have the number 1 pick and you see what CJ Stroud is. Now, to me, you build the rest of the team, you can go find a CJ Stroud, right? When you see quarterbacks that have offensive lines, that have defensive lines, or have like everything's already in place. Pat Mahomes came into a situation in place.
Yeah.
Had the right play caller.
Yeah.
Right? Like Dak Prescott came into a situation that was in place. That was a team built for Tony Romo. They just kept winning. You know what I mean? Oh, Dak's in there. Oh, well, he looks good. Well, it's the number 1 offensive line in the NFL. I would hope he looks okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, there more times than not, we want the CJ Stroud scenario where the quarterback comes in and he's the savior on the white horse with a sword and a gun in the other hand. Yeah, I mean, like, he's just taking enemies out any way he needs to.
Yeah.
But the times you see the long-term success consistently in the NFL is where the team is built.
Mm-hmm.
So what decision does Ryan Poles make that helps build the team in the right direction? And I think that's the part that a lot of people don't look at. So we'll see over the next 5 weeks what this is going to end up being. I do gotta we gotta switch gears a little bit here because the Bears are supposed to be moving from Soldier Field.
Mm-hmm.
They were supposed to be moving from Soldier Field for a while now, or at least starting the building on the place where they were supposed to be moving. And the conversation is now switched to just putting the new stadium in the South parking lot. J-Mac, are we just saying at Soldier Field? Is that what's going to happen? We're never leaving.
I don't know what's going on. I think I don't know, man. It's like you've been, I don't know. I have no idea. I think they don't know. I mean, hell, they don't know what they're going to do next year in terms of the team, the coach.
Right.
Like, damn, now we got to worry about a stadium, where to put it and stuff like that. I just think you got to explore all options, obviously, but I have no idea. I saw those reports,
I just want to be able to park at the stadium.
Does that solve your problems if you put it in the South lot? No. I think you're going to be in the same situation. You're trying to smush a stadium downtown. You own it, so you can make revenue off of events that you can hold at your venue that you own. So I know they see Jerry Jones down there in Jerry's World. He's got the fights, he's got the concerts, but now here you got Beyonce come to Soldier Field. The Bears don't get none of that.
Bears don't get none of that Beyonce money.
The Bears like, hey, we don't care where you guys park. You can park on top of each other, but as long as we getting that revenue, as long as we can make money off of concerts and events, and it's all ours, then hey, we may have to explore the South lot, or we may have to finally, start laying a foundation in Arlington. I don't know what they're going to do.
Here's my biggest question on it all, right? Like, does that mean you're tearing down Soldier Field? Because my whole thought process, when you go to Arlington, Soldier Field still Soldier Field. It stays.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can still play. Illinois can play there. You can have soccer matches there. Rugby can play there. Blah blah blah. Right? Like, there's still a ton of stuff that you can do at Soldier Field. Are you gonna keep Soldier Field and just put a massive stadium next to Soldier Field? And it's gonna be like the what is that in Cleveland, right? The football field and the baseball field are right next to each other, except it's just two football stadiums.
Yeah, I mean, but there's a thing. I don't know if you're saying the Bears can't tear down Soldier Field. You don't own it.
Right, but what I'm saying is, right, like, if Soldier Field is still there, and you just build a massive stadium next to it, you just gonna have two football fields. I mean, I guess listen,
Minnesota. I mean, it's the baseball fields right here, in Minnesota, the Vikings fields right here. And the funny thing is, the Vikings have a dome. Baseball, it's outside. You know what I mean? Like it's.
Hey, look, here's what we do, right? So here's what we do. I got it figured out. We put the stadium right next to it. We put the Bears in the new stadium. We add another Chicago football team here. And we put them in Soldier Field, and we create the greatest rivalry of all time. Forget the Packers. We going right at the team next door. I got to walk in next to you every day. Hey, your mama, you ain't nothing.
So you saying it's gotten so bad with the Bears-Packers rivalry that we've got to create a team.
We got to create our own rivalry.
That's bad. That's terrible.
I wasn't saying that, but now it does seem that way. It does feel that way. Right? Oh God! Now you can't do it. Not because Packers fans will never let it die.
Oh yeah,
now you can't do it.
They made a team. They're so bad. They made a team. They made a team.
Is that the Packers? They're Canadians now.
I don't know. I'm just saying they don't sound like Chicagoans, so I don't know.
They definitely do not. I've seen many Packers.
That's what they would say. But I don't, honestly, I have no idea what to think about this stadium. I have not even really been focused on it.
Yeah,
I've been, as we all have been, focused on this team and kind of what this last 5 weeks could look like, what the scenario could be like in terms of the off season. That's where I've been, because there's been times where I say, you know what, they're going to keep Flus and they're going to keep Justin.
Yep.
And there's times I'm like, you know what, like, wow, like.
If you don't compete this week, that argument is tough.
Yeah. It's like I like Justin, and I like Flus. I like Coach Flus. Like I said before, I just don't know if he's the type of head coach that we need here in Chicago. But other times I say, they're going to get rid of these guys.
Yeah,
like, they're going to get rid of them. Like, how can they not get rid of them when you have this draft capital and you have, these two quarterbacks at the top of the draft, now maybe 3 with Bo Nix in the mix, and I don't know, the way Michael Penix has been playing, like you got a lot of options now in the draft. Like, are they going to actually do the same thing they did last year? Pass on a quarterback and try to build around.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I don't know. I think it's honestly, we talk about numbers. I think it's 50-50 on what they might do. I have no idea.
Which comes first? The Bears get a new stadium, or we figure out who our quarterback is?
We ain't figured that out. We ain't figured that. We might have had 2 or 3 stadiums by the time we figure that out. I don't know.
Oh, it's ugly out here, dog. It's ugly. Let's hope we get, bro. We need a win this week. We need back-to-back divisional wins to give the fan base something to hope for.
We're gonna win this week.
I need a win this week, bro.
Bears 21, Little Kitten 17.
You got a better outcome than me. I got a 24-21 because I think Lou Getz is gonna run the exact same game plan. The Lions gonna be like, we saw this.
You got the Lions winning?
I have the Lions winning.
Man, the Lions ain't winning at Soldier Field, man. They used to play in that cozy dome up there in Detroit.
I will say the biggest advantage the Bears have is Jared Goff hates the cold, and I don't care what nobody says.
They got that good turf at Ford Field. They got to come here to that Soldier Field soggy swamp, slip and slide.
Yeah.
They got to come here, man.
Well, listen, they're going to be handing the football off to a guy that was pretty effective here.
Yeah, I forgot about it.
Yeah, I mean, Monty know how to run on this grass. He ain't no turf monster out here.
I just hope my guy Deontay Foreman's back healthy, man, because that's a guy who, yes, you talk about he's not going to give you that explosive home run like Khalil Herbert.
Yeah.
But in this situation, right, when it gets late in the season like this with the weather, you need a bell cow that you can turn around and hand that ball off to that can get you 4 or 5 yards a clip. That can get you the tough yards, right?
Yeah.
That can make something happen if there's a defender run block, which there always is, right? Because in the run game, we look at it like this, all right? We're going to block these guys. This guy right here unblocked, that's your man. As a running back, you got to either make a miss, run him over, or something. That's your guy. And Deontay Foreman runs with that physicality in which he can, get extra yards. And if Khalil Herbert's healthy enough, he's that guy that can make that guy miss. Yeah, take it the distance. You know what I'm saying? So I hope he's healthy. I hope both those guys are healthy because we're going to need all 3 of them, not just Khalil and Deontay. We're also going to need Roshan, I think, this week.
And there's also just got to be a commitment to it. Like you said, right? Justin's running, 33 times? You said the running backs have run at 46 combined. There's got to be a commitment to it.
Yeah, and I'm not saying, right, in with Justin, okay, I don't want my quarterback carrying the ball 18 times in this game. But at the same time,
8 to 10 is fine with me. That's my limit.
But see, as a coach, that's the mindset I'm going into.
Yeah.
With this game, like I don't want him to carry the ball 18 times. But the flow of the game, if he's at 10 carries and he's getting chunk yardage,
and he's killing them, right?
Explosive plays, and I'm not. My other backs aren't doing anything, and if I'm running read zone, they keep taking the back, and the read is to pull that ball, Justin, get around the edge. Like, Justin, you may have to carry that ball 18 to 20 times because at this point, as a head coach, I know my job is my job status is uncertain.
Yeah,
I got to do whatever it takes to win. I don't care how ugly it is, how pretty it is. Hey, Justin, you may have to carry the ball 30 times for us to win this game.
If he at least had that mindset, 6 weeks ago, he might not be in fighting for his job right now.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like winning cures a lot of things.
Yeah, it does.
If people are still going to dissect the win, and they're going to say, okay, well, he shouldn't do this. Well, why is he dropping back and all this other? He's taking sacks, but you won the game.
My favorite thing right now is that all of the players that play against Justin, that have played the game, that have worked with Justin, that have been in the NFL in the past, look at Justin Fields and say he's an unbelievable talent you can't get rid of.
Yeah.
Everybody who's not a player is just like, this guy sucks. It's like, hey, bro, Micah Parsons said he's hard to guard. Dan Campbell said he's really difficult to game plan for. Mike McDaniels was complaining that how Justin Fields was playing. And all the players and coaches are like, this dude's amazing.
Yeah.
Please, like, stop being you.
But that just fortifies the argument of, is it scheme or the player? And here in Chicago, it's been a mixture of both.
Yeah.
You know, Justin will flat out and tell you, he has, like me interviewing him, hey, I can't fumble the ball.
Yeah.
You know, and we've seen the scheme has been up and down from week in and week out, the inconsistency in terms of the game plan, the scheme, or, you know, how they're trying to take advantage of defenses from week to week with Justin at the helm at quarterback. It's been inconsistent. It's been different. It's been confusing. It's been good. It's been bad. It's been puzzling. It's been what the
It's been mostly that one. Been a lot of that one.
Any adjective that you can use that conflict each other, like that are complete opposites this year, that's how you can describe the offensive game plan.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, before we get up out of here, we got to talk about a guy who's a massive part of our offense, who retired yesterday. He was on special teams, but scored a lot of points for us.
Yeah.
As a Chicago Bear, Robbie Gould going down and finally hanging up the kicking leg. He's probably going to play a lot of golf. He's a really good golfer. I watched him golfing.
He's a beat man. They should be like him. And let me tell you something. This right, everybody. He's a good golfer. Like, that's all they did in camp is golf, dude. Like, I used to get pissed off because, you know, we used to have 2 practices a day.
Yeah.
Briggs would tell you the same thing, right? After the first practice, I'm eating and I'm going to bed because we got another practice. Pat Manley, Robbie G, Brad Maynard, them dudes, they got their golf. Like, we're walking into the dorm, they're walking out of the dorm with their golf clubs. I'm like, where the hell are y'all going? They're going to play 18 and then go back to practice because they, you know what I mean?
They kick it.
They're kicking.
They kick it.
Snapping. Brad's punting. And don't get me wrong, it's important. It's real important, but man, they lived it, man. They did it. That's why they're so good at golf. Hell, they did it their whole career.
They've been golfing for years.
It was never, you know, it's never off season in terms of golf for those guys, ever.
It is he really is good. Like, if y'all ever get a chance to see Robbie golf, I got to see him at ESPN's golf outing to start the year. I was like, he looked like he do this professionally. Like, he looks really good. Where do you rank Robbie Gould as far as kickers in Chicago Bears history? Is he number 1?
Yeah,
or your teammate? Like,
he's my teammate, so I'm going to rank him number 1. But I don't have all the numbers like Kevin Butler. I don't know what his numbers are. You know, I just know what Robbie Gould did for us. I know Robbie, it was automatic. You know, a lot of times, you know, I was on the field goal team. I was the right wing, so I knew he was going to make it. You know, as soon as we kick, I'd run to the sideline because I knew it was good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think we took him for granted. And and another thing, too, right? People don't realize, like, kicking here in Soldier Field, I ain't a kicker. I never attempted to try to kick a field goal, but I know damn well that wind was blowing, that snow was blowing, the footing's terrible, it's cold. Like, and he's still consistent, accurate. Like, I mean, so.
He's number 1 in field goals made, 276 field goals made. I believe this is over his career, not just with the Bears. No, this is just with the Bears. Just with the Bears, 276. So he did pass Kevin Butler in that aspect of it. He attempted 323. He was an 85% field goal kicker while he was here. Now, in theory, Cairo Santos is better. He's 90%.
Yeah, but the amount
112 to 101. But
yeah, I mean,
there's a lot less kicks, right? A lot less. And the thing about Robbie that was amazing was Robbie not only could kick, you knew it was going in on the chip shots, right? You had, like, literally when Robbie was kicking, I got up. Like, all right, we made it. All right, cool, we got 3. But the 50-yarders, the 50-plus yarders, Robbie Gould not only had the power to get the ball there, but still the accuracy to kick it in Soldier Field in some of the wildest conditions you've ever seen to be able to knock it through. I've watched I watched whatever old, you know, y'all know who I'm talking about. I ain't gonna say his name on this podcast. It's like ripping a Band-Aid off. Hit the goalpost 1,000,000 times in perfect conditions in stadiums that were domes.
I was gonna ask you, is that person on the list over there? Like, what's his stat?
You know what? And I'll tell you this.
Boom. Boom.
I will say this. Oh God, it looks so bad too. He only kicked 30 footballs with the Bears.
That was too many.
76%.
30 was too many.
Yeah. 76%. And we all know the ones he was destined to miss, right? Like, but I say all that to say, right, that was kind of the aftermath of the Robbie Gould.
Yeah.
You never realized you needed Robbie Gould more than in that moment. I'm not gonna lie. I can't go back because it's on tape. I've already said it. It's out there. I wouldn't have paid Robbie either. I ain't gonna lie to you. Robbie wanted a lot of money to be a kicker. He was amazing. He's the best kicker we've ever had. He wanted a lot of money to be a kicker, though. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm like, I wanted to invest in the offensive line. I need that money here, but I loved Robbie Gould.
He came back here to Soldier Field. He's kicking for the 49ers. Look how many big kicks he made for the 49ers.
Oh, yeah. Still beat the Packers.
You want excellence, it's going to cost you.
Hey, it was a lot of money, though. It was a lot of money. I ain't gonna lie to you.
You want excellence, it's going to cost you.
I want excellence, and I love the excellence that Robbie brought, but hey, Robbie said, I'm worth this, and the Bears didn't feel like he was, and San Francisco did. And guess what? San Francisco benefited from it.
Did it not cost us?
Oh, it cost us.
Boom.
I'm not gonna lie to you either. When I see a kick hit the upright in other games, that sound is etched into my mind.
Sad, man.
It's the saddest sound it's got to be the saddest sound in Chicago sports history.
Man, you see that? I remember watching that, and I think I may have actually put a little something on that game.
Oh, okay. I was wondering what was going on with the chin rub.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. The chin rub was me watching the actual thing. Like, he was just. I know this. I know he ain't missing right. You want to clutch, but I know his mother effer ain't missing right. Did he just do that?
That's the one. The laugh.
You gotta have the crazy laugh. Did he really just do that? You gotta rewind it. Like, he just really did that.
Bro,
like, the season's really over.
I couldn't believe that. That was a tough time for us. Robbie Gould on 50+ yarders, 31 for 23, ridiculous. 40 to 49, 75 for 103. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
30 to 39, 101. He made 90 of them. Ridiculous. Like, and by the way, just so you want to know how good he was from 20 to 29, he never missed.
Yeah, he's the mayor.
86 for 86. He's never missed.
The mayor, man. The words of my guy Jeff Joniak, the mayor, Robbie G.
Robbie G, man. Hey, he was good as gold. And we loved him for everything he brought to this city, man. And so enjoy retirement, brother. Hit him straight with he's like Hawkeye. He's kind of like Hawkeye. Yeah, he went to the golf course. What you should? I thought you were playing golf. Got bored. Played 18, shot 18. That's how Robbie Gould's out here playing golf. So good to see. I love seeing. It's weird being old enough to see the guys that I grew up loving retire. You know what I mean? Or talking with them. You know what I mean? It's a little different. It's a little different. But hey, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, man. Leave that 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Appreciate you guys for showing love to another episode. Let's hope the Bears go out here and get a dub. J-Max got the Bears getting a win. Right now, I got the Bears getting a loss. And I hope that I am proven wrong. Glover Quinn said we getting beat 27-14.
Shut up, Glover. We ain't getting beat like that, man.
Bro, I was like, he said 13 points is a beatdown. I was like, yes, Glover. Bro. Like that's horrible. Like we got good.
Glover. We're gonna send him an Italian beef after this victory.
Hey, listen. Send it to me. Never mind. Hey, I appreciate y'all for tuning in, showing love. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. For J-Mac, I'm Pat the Designer. One love. Bear down. Peace.